I'm MJ. On November 3rd, members of No More Invasion protested the hiring of illegal alien day laborers at a Canoga Park, California Home Depot, and suffered a violent attack for having the guts to stand up for our country. Video of the protest shows the standard interactions with camera-wielding patriots trying to shine the light on those who hire illegals to the detriment of their fellow citizens. But it was as the event wound down, and conveniently after those with cameras had left, that 4 remaining protesters were mobbed. Led by an individual known as the Fake Indian, a group of day laborers attacked. They threw rocks, full paint cans, and even their own bicycles, then focused their attention and fists on one man who had fallen to the ground. Dennis Slater left the protest with sore ribs and cuts all over his body, including a deep gash to the head that required 12 staples to close, for speaking out against something that is by definition against the law, illegal immigration. And do you have any guess as to how many arrests have been made? Here's a clue. It's the same as the number of media outlets we found reporting this story. 0. If you don't know these patriots personally, or didn't at least get part of your news on the internet, you'd be absolutely clueless. Clueless that American citizens are being viciously attacked for their political views, and it's evidently A-OK with those who are tasked with providing us with protection and justice. Here's our question. How long will it be before an American citizen is killed by an illegal alien for taking a stand against the illegal invasion of this country? Years? Months? Weeks? Days? No one can predict, of course, but what we can predict, based on the endless corruption and lies of our government and media, is that it's only a matter of time. This is your country, folks, and it's being stolen from you by force and by fraud. If you want law and order restored before it's too late, the time to take action is now. The victim, Gisela Silvestri, 23 months old. The accused, Angel Jesus Hernandez, illegal alien. The charges, intoxicated assault with a vehicle and failure to stop and render assistance. The story. Hernandez had a blood alcohol level of 0.15 on October 14th when his car jumped a curb in southwest Houston and hit little Gisela. Rather than stop after striking the small toddler, Hernandez swerved into the center of the street, hitting an oncoming car, then veered into a parking lot where he struck 2 parked cars. Gisela was hospitalized and died 2 days later from injuries sustained in the hit and run. But we've been unable to find news reports of additional charges being filed. What we do know, however, is that if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, Angel Jesus Hernandez wouldn't have been here to take the life of a 23-month-old child, making this crime 100% preventable. The victims. People robbed at gunpoint at 4 Mesa, Arizona stores. The accused. Caleb Andrade Mondragon, 21. Juan Jose Mendez, 32. Humberto Ochoa Alvarado, 30. Juan Felipe Torres, 25. And Javier Robledo Rodriguez, 26. 4 of whom are illegal aliens. The charges. 96 charges filed include armed robbery, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and misconduct involving weapons. The story. Police say the accused are responsible for the armed robberies of 4 Mesa grocery stores over a 5-month period. They have been dubbed the zip-tie bandits for accosting their victims, including a small child, at gunpoint and securing them with zip ties. Maricopa County Attorney Andrew Thomas reported that some of the men are repeat offenders and have previously been deported. But why let a pesky deportation get in your way when you've got crimes to commit and citizens to victimize? Of course, if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, 4 out of 5 of these violent men wouldn't have been here to rob innocent Americans at gunpoint, making this crime 100% preventable. Last week you saw the first half of our interview with Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch. Here's the second half, featuring more on illegal immigration, plus the important role of the blogosphere.
This problem is not being addressed properly.
Right. And how big a role do you say the blogosphere is playing? You mentioned stories that vanish from the media,
yes,
or ones that don't even make it unless you happen to read the internet.
I would say the blogosphere is our primary hope in this struggle, that there is such a stifling conformism on the part of both the left and the right. Right. In this struggle, such that even the so-called courageous conservative spokesmen on television and on radio, to a lesser extent, are afraid to discuss these matters honestly and openly and fully, and to engage particularly in the ideological aspects of the struggle, which I believe very firmly have to be addressed if we're going to deal with this problem correctly. Right. That being the case, the internet is the only place where the truth is being made known, and we're really in the blogosphere playing the role of the samizdat literature in the Soviet Union. Perhaps that's a bit grandiose, but I do believe that there is a real analogy there. We're not in danger of our lives. We're not in danger of being arrested and thrown into the gulag, but we are enunciating truths that are not being enunciated. We are standing up for principles that are not being defended. And as such, we are the only outlet for any realistic appraisal of this problem at this point.
Last question. To our readers who feel like they're alone sitting at home, what can they do? What's the best thing that people on the average level can do?
There's so many ways to answer that question. People ask me what we can do all the time. That's really a question every individual can answer for himself only, because every individual has various talents. Some people will want to work in the political arena and to try to focus our politicians onto dealing more adequately with this problem. Some people will work in the media and try to call attention to it. Some people will want to work in various more imaginative ways, going into mosques at open houses and asking them questions, finding out what they're teaching and who's funding them, which is a work that needs to be done. There's so many things that need to be done. The only limit is the human imagination and the human courage of each individual.
Well, we thank you for telling the truth and for speaking with us tonight. Thank you very much. Last year, Greeley, Colorado Mayor Tom Selders went to Washington to complain about ICE raids at the Swift meatpacking plant. Last week, the residents told Selders, thanks, but no thanks, electing challenger Ed Clark instead. A family of illegal aliens whose 17-year-old son was caught with marijuana in his backpack was deported. Students at the boys' high school marched in protest, and hours later, Tucson announced that police and schools would no longer summon immigration authorities to school grounds. Sanctuary city, sanctuary schools. Last week, Representative Heath Shuler of North Carolina introduced the SAVE Act, an enforcement-only bill. And it's truly bipartisan, with 44 Democrats and 55 Republicans signing on. Thanks for clicking in to this week's episode of the Blogs for Borders video blog burst. We close this week with a comment left under an article at the Chicago Tribune Online. The article reported on last week's immigration raids at O'Hare Airport, in which dozens were arrested working in secure areas using fake IDs provided by a local employment agency. It is always nice to know that we spend 2 hours getting through security inside the airport when there are potential terrorists working all over the airport. Signed, You Must Be Kidding.